Hey, fellow Riblets, it's Target Prime Rib. I'm here with my good friend here, Dustin Cade from Keto Simple. Hey, Dustin, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Thomas. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, I don't do all those intros and everything like that. It's like right to the
I get the weirdest comments about that. Your intro's too long, and I'm like, okay,
Well, I mean, you're not the only one that does that though. So,
yeah.
Russ does long intros, right? And I think and Amy does I've seen Amy do pretty long intros. So I mean, if they work for you, they work for you. And Rick today, he did a long intro. So I mean, you do it works. I just can't figure out how to do them effectively. So, all right. So let's look in the chats really quickly before we go on with the thing. The story, the chewing the fat, whatever you want to call it. So we have Sandy Blythe is in the chats. She was number one. And then we have Granny Boo and Juliet is here. Hey, Juliet.
Yeah, she says make sure to talk loud when we come into the chat, just in case she falls asleep.
That seems like a your problem, Juliet, not our problem.
No, we'll just talk extra loud.
Yeah. And then we got Smoothie here, and then Gary No Slow is here. So I hope you guys are all doing pretty well. And Juliet says that she's awake. Hi, Gary. Okay. Now that Gary's here, you're awake, right, Juliet? All right. So before we go on with your story, I just want to say to everybody, if you have any questions for Dustin, or I mean, this is Dustin's time, so I'm hoping you have more for him. But just put QQQ in front if you have any statements or anything like that, and you want us to show it, put the QQQ in front of that too. So, without further ado, Dustin, what brought you to this way of life?
Well, I've always been a big guy, a big kid, big guy. But around about 2016, I started going in to see some doctors to have a hernia repair. I had an umbilical hernia, so it was like coming out of my belly button. It was like about a fist size coming out of my belly button. And the skin was getting really thin, and I'd had it for like, I don't know, 6 years, something like that. Just the normal, like I'll take care of it. It's no big deal, whatever. It's not bothering me. Who cares? And you know, with a nurse, she's like, you should get this taken care of. You should get this taken care of. And then I started having like sleeping issues and snoring and sleep apnea. And so I went into started getting to have a surgeon look at my hernia. And I was also in the process of going in and getting the sleep apnea stuff taken care of because I had done a sleep study. And it was a weird process because when I was going to do the sleep study, they didn't really want to give me a sleep study for whatever reason. I guess it's just the way things are. But then once I did it, they were like calling me, being like, hey, you don't sleep so good. So I guess I was like stopped breathing like 70 times an hour or something like that. So like at least once a minute I was stopping breathing. And so so in this process, I was getting the CPAP machine, starting to see the different doctors and talk to the surgeon and all that stuff to get the surgery underway. And I stepped on a scale for the first time in I don't know how long, and it said I was 421 pounds. And nothing really prepares you for that kind of number. I mean, I knew I was getting big. I was buying the bigger clothes. I'd started buying 5X t-shirts. I was buying 50-inch pants. And, as a guy, you wear them under the gut, right? So if I would have gone over like where the actual waist was, it'd probably been like 65-inch pants, which would have been even harder to find. So I'm doing all that. And after I weighed myself that day, I got on the scale and the nurse was like 421 pounds. And I, was like a punch in the face, punch in the gut, right? And so I get out of the car and I call my wife and I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. And she's like, well, this needs to to start looking at this. We need to really take this seriously. We need to, we need to do low carb, whatever we need to do. We didn't know what that meant really, but she was like, well, I don't want you to do surgery because, surgery will be the absolute last resort. So if we try low carb and it doesn't work, then we will revisit the surgery conversation. Her being a nurse working on a floor where she saw the complications like 3, 4, 5, 10 years out from the weight loss surgeries, people coming back in with the complications, all this time later, having to have things repaired. So she's like, I don't want to deal with that because anytime you go under, anytime you have surgery, there's more risk, more, all that. And we just didn't want to deal with it. So we decided to do low carb. And this is 2016. Keto really isn't what it is now. Even wasn't, it just wasn't really in the forefront of, all of it like it is, with keto and carnivore. Regardless of what kind of diet you do now, people know what keto and what carnivore is, whether they know exactly what it is or not, but they've heard the terms. But this time I was digging through recipes, looking for low carb soup recipes and just trying to figure out what low carb was. And we went to the grocery store like a handful of times, just walking through, looking at everything that we were under the impression or we were told was healthy and looking at the carbohydrate levels. So, I mean, that's like rice, quinoa, like granola, looking at fruit, raisins, all the things we're always told. This is what you got to have. This is your health. This is your health food. And everything was 25, 35, 45 grams of carbohydrates per serving. I'm like, how can this be low carbohydrate? What does this mean? And so me being the nerd that I am, I started going down these rabbit holes and I ended up finding like a recipe page for kids for a ketogenic diet for kids who have epilepsy. And then I was at a GP, a general practitioner, my doctor visit, and he was removing some skin tags and stuff off of me. I was like trying to just trying to get an overhaul of my body, right? I was just trying to really focus on me. I was getting all the things taken care of that I had been just neglecting for a decade or better. So he was like, well, if you want to lose weight, you just gotta get into ketosis, right? And I was like, but he didn't elaborate. He was like, just low carb, no potatoes. I'm like, okay. So, that just further put that into my brain. Keto, ketosis, ketogenic, all these. And I was really diving headfirst into a lot of podcasts at the time because podcasts were really coming to the front. So, and I was driving a lot for work. I was driving 30 minutes plus each day to and from work. So I had plenty of time to sit in the car and listen to a podcast. So I found the two keto dudes. So Carl and Richard, they were the hosts of the two keto dudes. And I binge listened to, I think they had started maybe 6 months, maybe a year before I found keto. And I listened to everything they had within a few weeks and joined their little community. Then when it wasn't a YouTube community, it wasn't, they had like a Facebook group at first, but those just really fall away. As soon as the numbers get big on a Facebook group, it just starts to fall apart and becomes nasty and just hard to manage. So they created something else, and I forget what it was. But, and we just decided to do keto. And so by the end of 2016, we were full on keto, and I was losing probably 10 pounds a month, which was pretty phenomenal for, somebody who was basically kind of hopeless because I figured I was going to be resigned to, the fate that my mom had. My mom, was big her whole life, my whole life. Even seeing photos of her from, the 60s and 70s where everybody was skinny, she wasn't. And, then into my childhood, my teenage years, my 20s, her going through the diabetes, and then into my mid-20s, her having strokes and heart attacks, and then passing away in 2013 at the age of 59. I just figured, well, that's going to be my fate. That's going to be what happens to me, because if it happens to her, it's going to be what happens to me. And then luckily I was able to kind of turn that around and found this community after time, because even I didn't find the community like you guys, this community, until just a handful of years ago. I was doing Instagram, and then I didn't start YouTube really. I wasn't really serious about YouTube until 2021. And then it wasn't until like 2023 going into 2024 that I really found this community. Um, I was making content, putting out 3, 4 videos a week, but not really finding any community. I mean, people would watch, but there wasn't a community. There wasn't, and I'm guessing because there wasn't kind of a live situation that we have now, like with this right now, where we're live. Then I'll be live tomorrow. And then there's, we were talking like all these people that go live all the time. Like, you can't really turn on YouTube or open up YouTube without seeing somebody going live at some point during the week, regardless of what hour of day it is. So, I mean, that community has really exploded, and I'm really grateful for that. But that wasn't there. That wasn't in place yet. So that's kind of in a nutshell, long story long, about how we found keto and how we got to where we are now.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, I mean we all start at some point, Like I have to admit that, I didn't know that even my channel was gonna like I'm not huge by any means, but I'm a lot bigger than I thought I was going to be, if that makes any sense. Like I just started off as just journaling my day-to-day experiences, Um, so we got a few people that came in. Least being, well, not least being, but last person is. Oh, well, here's our first question. How old are you?
I am 46.
Oh, you're young.
Some days I feel that way, and some days I don't.
Well, I'm older than you, but I know there's people older than me too. So I mean, you know,
We are kind of the younger ones in the community, really. I mean, I'm one of the younger ones in the community, to be honest. Like 46, in the grand scheme of who comes out to the, who's in the lives and the chats and all that stuff. I'm probably one of the younger. Until, I mean, there's the outliers. There's the one boy that was like 16 years old. I haven't seen him around in a while.
yeah.
Um,
Well, there's a few people like really young. You're talking about Caleb, though. I think.
yeah, Caleb. Yeah, I haven't seen him around in a while.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few. There's at least three that I know of, and I think there's a 9-year-old. Believe it or not. Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. There's a Carrie Mann. I think did an interview with her and her father, some 9-year-old girl, and I keep on forgetting how to pronounce her name, but her name's Alea or something like that. I have to look it up on how to spell it. But she's 16. She might be going on 17, and Caleb actually 17 soon too. I think if he's not already. But yeah. And then there's another guy too that no one really knows about. He's only on Instagram. His name is Anthony. He sort of looks like a very young um, Danny LaRusso from Karate Kid. All right. So Lewis is asking, does Dustin have another job or is he a full-time content creator?
That's kind of a loaded question, but I am, for all intents and purposes, a stay-at-home person. I handle the house. I handle dealing with our granddaughter because our kids live with us, and even when they didn't live with us, I still took care of our granddaughter. Make sure she gets to school, home from school, and do all that stuff. And then I do the YouTube, whatever my wife needs. I mean, really, we're home together a lot during the week. She's a nurse. She's an ICU nurse, and she works a weekend option. So she works Saturday and Sunday, and then we have a side business too. So I mean, we're busy all the time. I just don't have a traditional job. So
And Rick just let us know that her name is Elia English. I always like have a hard time pronouncing it though. I know pretty much what the name is. I just keep on having a hard time pronouncing it. Because you always think to say Alia, but it's not Alia. It's nowhere near it.
it's like the difference between Tanya.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So okay, so obviously Lewis and Rick are here. Ellen, Scooby the dog. has joined us. Terry Sue, and in My Apex Odyssey have all joined us. Bride's Biscuit, 22 Q Cat, which I know you know who that is, Lynn.
Hmm.
And let me see if there's anybody else. No, so far, I think that's everybody that I've mentioned. If I've forgotten you, just say, "Hey, you forgot me," and I'll make sure to mention you. All right. So, if anybody has any questions or anything, please put QQQ in front because I'm sure Dustin wants to know what questions you have for him. Yeah. So, so again, before I forget, which I won't, I appreciate you coming on here.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, this is. So right now, Rick is saying Milton is cuddling up to him today after tearing me apart yesterday.
Well, it's not Milton's fault that Rick has silly human skin.
Yeah, really. He probably like had too much bacon or something like that, and he was just smelling it. So Juliet's asking, did you ever do carnivore?
I have, yeah, and even on my most of the time, I lean more towards carnivore anyway. Um, even my regular like keto, whatever. I mean, keto is my name in this. The keto simple that comes from starting an Instagram in 2016, and that just bled over. It was just an obvious choice. I already had the branding and everything to go into YouTube.
Right.
And I mean, realistically, like they're all like keto, carnivore, and everything to me is all like in the same bucket, just different levels, I guess, just different disciplines, if you will. So I don't really see much of a difference between all of them. I mean, relatively interchangeable in my opinion. You can kind of, I mean, realistically, if you're going back and forth between keto, carnivore, lion, you're doing okay, most likely, unless you have some reason to really deep dive and be very, strict lion diet or strict carnivore. I mean, I don't really see an issue with, being very kind of fluid between those anyway, but that's really how I am, is fluid between all of it. I mean, I'll fast, I'll eat just meat and eggs for a while. And then sometimes I want broccoli, or I'll put onions or something in my food or whatever. I'm just not
100%.
overly strict with myself most of the time, but I do feel most of the time if I'm, burger and eggs and bacon and such, I do feel better.
Yeah,
And I
that's how
do,
I
and
am.
it's easier too, really.
That's how I am too. It's like I feel better. And I actually feel better with red meat over the other meats, but
Hmm.
it doesn't mean I'm not going to have the other meats. It's just a matter of degrees. And with the price of meat now, it's just more affordable for me to get more variety. But so Lewis asked the question, do you ever have any carnivore days or meals? Which you pretty much just
Yeah.
answered, but I guess it's just an elaboration to the question.
I
Um,
mean, really, when I'm feeling my laziest, that's most likely when I'm going to be carnivore anyway, because I can throw just a couple of frozen burger patties in the fryer, scramble some eggs, and I'm good to go, or whatever I need to do. Just really, just with as much as I feel like I'm busy all the time, that I don't want to stop all the time to eat food or like make a big to do about food. I mean, we've even streamlined our coffee process. We don't have a coffee maker anymore. We just have like a kettle. We boil water, instant espresso, just mix it with a little milk frother, and we're just good to go. Like everything we do is calculated basically. Like in the morning time for Chandra and I will we'll take the granddaughter to school. We'll come home. I'll make her some eggs because she likes to eat early. I don't. And we'll have our coffee, and then we split off and do what we got to do. She does her because she has a eBay side business, and then I'm doing this stuff or whatever needs to be, whatever has to happen around the house, whatever needs to happen. We split off and do that, and then I will usually have something to eat around 1, 2 o'clock before I go pick up our granddaughter. If I miss that opportunity and I just work through that or whatever, then I'll have something later. But I try not to eat late because there's another question in there that I saw. It was, let's see. Do you feel, it's like, what do you feel causes stalls and weight loss
Oh yeah,
besides diet?
I have it on the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Um,
I think, yeah, that's a good segue into like sleep, not getting
sleep.
enough sleep, stress, especially right now. A lot of people are stressed out over money. If you're not getting sleep, you're stressed out. You know, or if you're not getting good sleep because you probably should have a CPAP machine. A lot of us probably could use those if you're, if you're bigger. Um, not having somebody in your corner, like, community plays a big role in the stalls, like feeling like you're doing it all by yourself. Like if you have a spouse that isn't supportive, or a spouse that isn't doing it along with you, and you feel like they're making it harder for you. These are all a lot of things outside of the diet that can truly impact our life, that truly impacts our progress. Not getting enough movement, maybe getting too much movement, not, being too. There's another question there. Do I lift weights? I need to. We've been talking about joining a gym. I don't really get much in the way of weight loss, or I mean, weight loss, weights, or anything like that. I don't have any. So just going about our day to day life is trying to fit everything in is a difficult kind of thing. I need to start being more intentional with movement. And we're talking about going to, like, getting a family membership to the YMCA so we can go, and there they have a sauna there. I can sit in the sauna. We can do weights and cardio, and my granddaughter can go and be in swim lessons and all the things that kind of come with being kind of an active family that we don't do right now. So yeah, and we do have a grandbaby coming in December, right? So yeah, it's a plan. She'll be here December 19th.
Congratulations on that. Do you have any idea what the baby gender is or anything like that?
Yeah,
Or
we had a gender reveal a couple of months ago. It's going to be a girl. So I'm going to
oh,
have two girls.
that's cool.
They're going to be my bullies.
Yeah. Oh, they'll beat you up definitely.
Hmm. They do. They get whatever they want out of me. I'm a big softy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely I love both my niece and nephew, but I'm definitely more afraid of my niece than I am my nephew. So yeah, she's definitely somebody that will beat you up.
We were watching the granddaughter, and we were watching this family that bought this schoolhouse in southern Indiana, not terribly far from where we are, and they spent 4 years building up this schoolhouse, turning into a home. And in the process, they were filming and putting it on YouTube, and in the process, they got their 100,000 subscriber plaque. And I was saying to the other kids that were in the room with us, you can go ahead and order another one when you get that. So when you get the first one for free, they'll send you your silver play button for free, but you can order a second one. And I was like, I'll do that. And my granddaughter, who's 7, looks at me and goes, "You're never gonna get one of those." I'm like, she's. I think she was trying to be funny, but I was like, she's like punches above her weight class because she's only 7 and she's making jokes like that. I'm like, I can't. She's mean.
So Bride's Biscuit, not really a question, but says I went to the doc yesterday and mentioned wanting to quit coffee. She said, "Why? The amount I drink is probably good for me. Consider me enabled till next year."
I have the same question. Like, and I've done a year or so without coffee before just to see if it would help with heartburn. When I was first starting out, I was on heartburn medication, and I wanted to get off of my heartburn medication, and I wasn't sure, well, is coffee the culprit? What's really, because you just don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so I went about a year without coffee, really a year without caffeine. And I decided that it didn't really add much to my life to not have coffee. Because I really enjoy coffee, and I kind of feel like, especially when you're first starting out, you already feel like you're giving up so much. And I know people's mileage may vary. You may feel that you didn't feel like you had to give up so much, but like when you go from eating Oreos and ice cream and all these things and pizza and all these things on a daily basis to just eating hamburger and
Yeah.
steaks and eggs and bacon, you feel like you are giving up a big portion of your life. And then I like coffee so a little history behind my coffee consumption. It wasn't something that I drank on a regular basis until about 2010. I stopped smoking cigarettes in 2010 after on again, off again from 16 to 18 years old till I was, to 2010. So like, I don't know, 30 years old. So a long time smoking cigarettes. And so when I gave up cigarettes, I still needed something to do with the time at work. So I would go with coworkers as we worked in this office complex, and we would walk from what because there were the three buildings in our complex, and we were in like one building, and then there was a building next to us, and then the building on the other side of that had a coffee shop in it. So we would walk to the coffee shop every day and get coffee. So it was something to do with my time that wasn't standing out there smoking a cigarette. So it was like, you have those cravings, you're trying to build a new habit. And realistically, coffee became that new habit, which actually, in hindsight, was costing me more money than smoking. Because I didn't smoke that much. I was smoking a pack about every other day, give or take. And at the time, cigarettes were about $5 a pack, and coffee was costing me
Oh, that's a
$6.
long time ago. I know they're
Oh
not
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
anymore.
Well, I mean, you're on the East Coast. Even back then, cigarettes were like $10 a pack in New York. But I
Well,
know
yeah.
you're in Jersey, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, there are some packs that are probably $10, but the most popular packs is probably going to be Marlboro or Newport, and Newport Marlboro is about 13 something per pack.
Ugh.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, my grandfather used to get Marlboro Lights, a whole carton of Marlboro Lights. And this is back during a time that even at like 16, I could go in the store and get the cigarettes, for him. And he's your grandfather, so you do whatever he tells you, even if you
Yeah.
don't agree with it. And so I used to go get him a carton, and it was like $25. Now I sell them because I have no choice again. They're $138 for that same carton.
I remember one of the last times I remember buying cartons. I was in Lexington, Kentucky. I went down to visit a friend who had moved there, and I was driving by a gas station, and they had a thing that said cartons $25. This was in 2008. I about wrecked the car turning into to this gas station to go buy. I bought like 5 cartons of cigarettes.
Yeah.
I was like, because I mean, even up here they were 30, $40 at the time, probably, right? Well, they were $5 a pack. They were $50. They were $50 a carton.
They've jumped so much. I know if my grandfather was still alive today, he'd be rolling in his grave if he saw, because he used to buy like he used to buy a carton every 2, 3 days. So can you imagine how much he would be spending today if he like, and my grandmother only gave him like $100 allowance every month. Like he would get his like, and then she'd pay for everything else. But she'd be like, okay, here's $100 for you to spend for the month. Can you imagine? He couldn't do it.
He'd have $1,000 allowance now.
Yeah, it's like, but oh, it's got somebody new on here. Wee Blade. Hello, Wee Blade. How we doing? Thank you for coming on here. Um, he's talking about something being pretty fat. Oh, maybe the cat that's in the picture.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know.
I don't know, but welcome. It's always nice to see new people, unless you're somebody that's been on here before, but you have switched your name. That's always possible too. That's always possible. I don't. Do you get confused by that at all?
It happens to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm like sometimes I just don't remember everybody, and I tried to keep a spreadsheet of everybody, like what their screen names were, what their real name was,
Yeah. Well,
and I
real
still
name,
can't keep
God,
it straight.
unless you actually have it in that's hard for, like there's some people I know, like I know Feral Grandma's Wendy. I know, Q Cat is Lynn. So I mean that's but then there's easier ones like Evelyn. I know her, or like you say, Evelyn.
Evelyn,
Um,
that's right.
yep. Which I actually at the pizza place that's in my complex. There's actually two Evelyns there. So I told her, I said, you know, like you know what you should do for Halloween is dress up like Evil Lynn from He-Man. And she's like, oh, that's funny.
And I was gonna say, like, with every the one thing about Rick's always like coffee's so gross, blah blah. Like everything's gross to Rick. It should just be like, just tell us what you like. Like what actually tastes good to you, Rick, besides iguana and water chickens.
The dumpster chickens.
No, I was gonna say water chickens, like ducks.
Oh, well, he likes both dumpster and water chickens.
I know.
Yeah. 'Cause you got to have that dumpster chicken. Like, how many when you go into the dumpster? I mean, I guess Florida's different because
That
I
seems like it would
mean,
be worse.
I don't, I've gone to dumpsters like behind buildings and stuff like that, stores, or worked at stores that had dumpsters behind them, and not once did I ever see chickens near a
I've
parking lot.
never I've never dived, went into a dumpster to get stuff. And I grew up pretty poor. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just, and I mean, no shade. I mean, not trying to, to belittle anybody or whatever, but like, I was just something that we just never did. I had to dig in a dumpster one time because my mom threw something away she didn't mean to throw away. But outside of stuff like that, like when you got to climb in the dumpster, I'm like, ugh, so gross in here. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I did once when I was younger. We went to this dumpster in the back of our school and empty got rid of a lot cool. They had like these like really fine dishes that somebody was like throwing away. But the reason why I threw them away is because there was like one dish missing or something like that. So it was like, so we just like took the stuff and I didn't have a car at that time because I was only a kid. So I took the stuff out, just lifted it out of the dumpster, put it into a wagon and just like carefully, you know, walked with it. I think I broke like two dishes, so I had like three less than normal. But it was like,
It works.
yeah. I mean, we ended up not having the dishes anymore. We actually sold them at a flea market for like 10 cents a piece, and got like about like I don't know, like $50 or something like that. It was like a big set. It was huge. So, or depending, I forget how the price thing went. It might have been like more like 25 cents. I mean, so we lay. Oh, we web lay. Oh, web lay. Okay. Says I smoked 3 cigars and 29 blunts. Okay. And Rick says that when you are a super tall, dumpster diving is easy.
Oh my goodness.
And talking about young, we had this. Webley is 28 years old. So you're not the youngest one here, Dustin. Look at that.
All right. Well, that's like so. Lizzie World was say picking up things on the side of the road and selling it as a hustle. I missed my truck. My brother was doing that for a while. He would go around and pick up scrap metal from like all the different neighborhoods, like the night before the trash pickups, and he was making killer money. Like he's making like I don't know, he's making a good amount of money doing that as a side. And like I said, we have a side business with eBay, so what my wife does is she goes into Goodwills and she'll be there for like 7 hours. So she puts literal work into this. So she goes through and looks for things and finds stuff that, I mean, you're buying stuff. I mean, Goodwill is kind of not what it was initially intended to be. I could probably take a whole episode talking about Goodwill and how it's not what people think it is. But like she goes in and she buys all kinds of stuff, like a lot of, most clothes, stuffed animals and stuff like that. And we just sell them and make, because stuff ends up at Goodwill. And if it doesn't sell at Goodwill, like, so if somebody doesn't dig through and find it, then it ends up at the bins, which is like, Goodwill has these outlets. They just dump the stuff into these big bins and you just dig through it. And then if it doesn't sell there, then it just goes to a landfill. And so now with the way Goodwill has been overpricing their merchandise, more and more and more stuff is going to the landfill. So, but also Goodwill has been pulling what they think is valuable stuff and then sending it over to their own version of eBay, because there's a goodwill.com where you can buy things like it's like an eBay setup where they do auctions and stuff for jewelry. Like you don't go into a Goodwill and find a computer monitor that takes HDMI. They're going to send that to the Goodwill outlet or the Goodwill online store. If you go into a Goodwill store now, almost any of the monitors you're going to find are going to be like, the old school ones where you're going to screw the little prongs in and all that stuff. Yeah. So you're not finding a lot of stuff like that, but the clothes, she knows what she's looking for, and she saves a lot of clothes from going for the landfill and makes a profit doing it. But it's a lot of work. I mean, she has to, she'll go and spend 7-8 hours in a Goodwill, come home with like 4 or 5 bags of stuff, steam it, wash it, whatever needs to happen to it. Then it goes, just take pictures of it, list it. And then if it sells, she has to pack and ship it and all that stuff. So, I mean, it's a full-time job, and she does that during the week. And then, yeah. So
Wow.
just part of, like how our house works, but
Yeah, doesn't what's her name sell? Cindy, doesn't she sell on eBay
she
too?
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she does. She's just starting out. Like, so, I mean, Chandra has been doing it since 2002, I think. Like the first thing she ever
Oh
sold on
yeah,
eBay, she
I
even
think
had
I
a
saw
camera.
some of your choices.
Yeah, she even has a YouTube channel, but it hasn't been updated in a couple of years. She's really good at it. Like if you go and look at her YouTube channel, you would look at her videos and go, wow, well, she should do this more, but she just doesn't see it that way. She doesn't have, I guess, the desire really to do this, but even though she's got an infinite amount of knowledge and she could help so many people do it.
So Lizzie's in the same connection. She goes, I just got a genuine leather purse the other day from Goodwill. I looked it up. It's 120 and I paid $3. Pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah, Chandra sold a little ceramic dog the other day.
Yeah,
You paid like
yeah.
$5 for it, sold for $240.
I saw that. I saw that.
Yeah.
That's where you left she put a link up of like her website or whatever, like the eBay collection that she has. I mean, I didn't look like through it thoroughly, but because most of the stuff I saw were the clothing. I didn't really see
Yeah.
any of the tchotchkes or anything like that. But I'm sure she has them because she has the ceramic dog. I'm sure she has other things
Yeah, we
too.
have a little bit of everything really. So yeah, I just never, like, she comes home and she's like, I don't know if I should have bought this. And I'm like, you know what? Even if like 5% of what she buys isn't worth what she thinks it is, it's fine.
Mm. Yeah, right now I'm in the. I was telling you before backstage. I'm in the looks of getting a new suit for. Unfortunately, I may or may not need it, but might
I
be
mean, yeah.
available. Right now, none. I used to have lots of suits, but unfortunately, they were all altered and they don't fit anymore. They don't fit still. Like even though I've lost a few pounds, I still have like the belly and everything like that. So, um, I measured myself. I'd rather try a suit on because sometimes the measurements aren't always correct either. Because there's other factors. But like right now, I'm measuring myself at a 48. Most likely 48 short because I'm not really that tall. I'm only 5'9" and a half. So, but you have suits. Hello.
Yeah. I mean, I don't
Oh,
have any suits, but
what
I
was that?
mean, most of the time I'm wearing pajamas. So, I mean,
Oh no, I meant on the eBay thing. You have suits on.
oh, no, not really.
Yeah.
Because you don't really find them at Goodwill stores. They usually don't. I mean, they break them apart, and then it's like most people aren't. giving away any suits that are worth anything. I mean, I don't know. You can go and you can pick apart. Like, you probably find yourself a black pair of pants, a nice pair of slacks.
Right. You could
But then
probably put
trying to
something
find a
together.
matching suit coat's probably going to be impossible to find.
Yeah.
Like, Goodwill's really difficult as far as I see for men's clothes. Like, I'll go in with her sometimes and I'll just peruse real quick, looking for shorts or something like that, or new pair of pants. But like, for most of the stuff that I would want to wear, the size that I am, I don't see anything that would be anything that I would want to wear.
I
And I'm
mean,
not even that picky.
I have found suits at Goodwill where we're at, but they're either never they're like it's like so outdated or whatever, or just the size is totally off, or it's just not in great condition. There's obviously always something up with it. And so I thought he displayed it. Sorry about that. So A Mason is what do each of you advise in starting a channel for keto to carnivore way of eating things? Oh God, that's it. I mean,
I would,
you're a little bit more seasoned when it comes to that. So what
well,
do you?
I would say, I mean, I would say I would always focus more of a lifestyle base channel. I would
Yeah.
say, and not niche yourself into keto or just carnivore. You see a lot of people come out with carnivore channels and they have to backtrack. Or, I mean, I'm kind of stuck with keto, but I don't really care. It doesn't really bother me too much,
Mhm.
because it still fits in my opinion. But if I were to start a channel today, I would make it more along the lines of a lifestyle channel, showcasing your journey, because people are looking for real people. They're looking for, um I'm trying to think of the word I'm trying to think of. They're looking for, um my brain is not working. Like, just authentic. They're looking for authenticity is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
People are looking for people, it's kind of like how Barbara from the Crochet Grandma channel, she's nothing more than she is. She's sitting there, she's showing you her walking to the mailbox and back, or to the end of the block and back. She's sitting there at the end of the night where she's doing her live while she's crocheting and just talking about her day and all that. That's just who she is, and that's exactly what you get, and she's highly successful.
Yeah.
So I would say, realistically, start off doing and showing you who you really are, your authentic journey, and just be you. And even if the beginning you're not great in front of the camera, that's okay. That's okay. Just make sure, the one thing that I always try to stress to people is audio is actually more important than video. Because if you've opened, how many times have you opened a YouTube video and the video's loud, like with ambient noise, and you can barely hear the person talking? Do you switch to another video? So you want to make sure your audio's good. Then you want to look at video. Almost everybody has a phone in their pocket with a decent camera. You can get things like this, these little microphones that plug into the bottom of your phone. Then you just put it on your lapel, and you've got really good audio.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah.
And I mean, you can get them for right now. You'd probably get a decent set of Hollyland if you want. If you have an iPhone, I mean, even now most new iPhones have USB-C, so it doesn't really matter which one you get. Just the USB-C. Get a USB-C Hollyland for like $40, and you're going to be amazing audio quality for $40. And it comes in a little chart. I have a couple different ones of that brand. I don't know what they're right here right now, but um yeah. Um they're great. They sound great. They're cheap. And you get them on Amazon, you order it and have it the next day. And you just plug and play. And I mean, you don't need a fancy camera. You don't need a whole like huge Sony A700 or anything like that. Just your iPhone, your Android phone is going to give you really good audio, video on your phone. Just make sure the microphone sounds good. And if it's a windy day, put the mic on the inside of your shirt, so that cuts down on the
Also,
wind
yeah,
noise.
yeah, I get
Yeah.
that.
So if you're not walking out, you hear, you don't want that. People are like, I'm not watching that. But,
Right.
I think that's huge. Just
Oh,
be
that's a good
you.
point.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
really good point. Yeah, I
And
mean, like,
consistency, just like
as you
anything.
know, I think I was just talking about that actually. Yeah, we were. We're talking about before we even came on here. And my channel just started out as me doing my journal. Like I wanted to reveal that I was doing carnivore. Basically, how it started out was I wanted to reveal I was doing carnivore with my family and kind of like open up to them because I knew talking to them one on one, they would be like trying to criticize me or whatever. And I love them, but I just know their input, like, oh, you can't do that, you're gonna the cholesterol, all that crap. So I was like, basically, this was my brave way of like, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I'm putting a video out, I'm gonna journal it. And it just grew from there. And but the thing is, the only thing that's really changed is I'm a lot braver now on telling my carnivore story. But it's basically just a journal day to day. So I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like don't just like be like, hey, I'm just, like just tell your story, tell the journey you're doing. You don't have to tell every bit of your life. I mean, it's not, like there's certain parts of your life that's probably not going to want to be put public, and that's great. That's fine. But yeah, just do your day to day, and you just so happen to be carnivore or keto, whatever you are. And if you transition from keto to carnivore, well, what's that like? Like how you feel like if you're getting rid of some stuff that you had for keto, how does it feel to do like how did 1 month feel? Like tell those things. Like don't just be this like with blinders on for carnivore and say like, okay, well, this is how you have to do things, because that gets annoying too. Don't be so dogmatic, is my opinion. Because there's so many people out there that is dogmatic, and I think they're doing okay, but I think it's only temporary or whatever. So that's
Yeah,
just
and I
my
think just being honest, showcasing what you're doing day to day. Are you fasting today? Are you having a more of a carnivore day? Are you doing a keto day? Did you have But don't forget to not just showcase the wins, but showcase the losses, because how do we show that we're human? How do we show that this is real life? Is showing your mistakes, showing your failures, because I think one of the things that turns me off about some creators is the fact that everything they do seems to be perfect and they're doing everything right. And I know that's not realistic. And whether they mean to do it or it's just kind of however they're doing things, they're just like I've been carnivore for 2.5 years and I've never once had a cheat meal. I've never even, but okay, liar. We're human. Don't give me that. I mean, I want real. I want authentic. I want the real deal, because we all make mistakes. What, you know what I mean? Like just the other day I went to Wawa for the first time. We just got some Wawa gas stations here in Indiana. And I went and I'd heard that Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos loves their coffee. I was like, okay, so she likes their coffee. It's got to be okay, right? So I went in and I got some. I got my wife and I got iced coffee. I put some half and half in it because it didn't have heavy cream. And I get in the car and I take a sip of it and it tasted like Cocoa Puffs. I'm like, and it said regular coffee, and I was like, they had like a mocha and a vanilla and a regular. Why was regular tasting like Cocoa Puffs?
right,
I
and you're
mean,
not
I
Cocoa for Cocoa Puffs probably. So
I mean, it tasted really good and I drank it, but I mean, because I was like, I don't want to waste $4.
right.
And I know that's real life.
That would have been my mentality too. I did the same thing the other day. I thought it'd just be a little different. And I there's a place I go to for cold brew coffee. It's plain coffee, and I either do it like they actually have heavy cream there, which is very unusual for a lot of places. And so I either do it with heavy cream or I do it black. Either way, because they're not going to do the butter thing, so I don't do that. And and they But this time I was like, I think I'm just going to treat myself a little bit, go off kilter a little bit. And so I did the pumpkin spice, but I did that black with just heavy cream. And when I had it, it was the sweetest thing I ever tasted. And I'm like, okay, I think that they put some sugar in this. They had to.
There's going to be sugar in the pumpkin spice sweet and the
Right.
pumpkin spice syrup has sugar in it.
Right.
Whether they put in because like one of the major tricks or one of the things you have to learn about like say Starbucks for example. With Starbucks, I think when you go and you order an iced coffee, even if you order a plain iced coffee with cream, you have to make sure to mention and no classic because they automatically put in like a liquid sugar. So if you go to Starbucks and you want a iced coffee, make sure to say no classic, please.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, I liked it, but it was a little too sweet for my taste anyway. So, so Adrian Glenhill is actually here in the chats with us. So, I mean, I actually invited her to come on showing the fat. I have to set a date, obviously, but she sent me an email. Um, that I have to read. But I just wanted to welcome her here because I think this is her first time here. And thank you for coming here. But she says if something works, you don't have to execute it perfectly. If you add an extra tablespoon of heavy cream in your coffee and gain 5 pounds, something is off. No one should have to be literally perfect. I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah, and I love Adrienne. She's amazing. I got to meet her in 2024 at at uh, Keto Palooza.
Well, I
She's
mean,
awesome.
I want to meet her because I don't know if she realizes this or not, but I actually applied for Biggest Loser. So there's a little bit of a connection there, that we can maybe talk about a little bit. So I hope she doesn't, I hope that, you know,
And she says, "Are you sure you want me on your channel? You do realize I'm against the grain, right? I am too. I kind of feel
I
like I can rub people the wrong way, but I just want to make sure that people understand. Like,
no, I mean, like I said, I'm not dogmatic about, I am carnivore because it helps me out. But I also believe that not carnivore is not going to help everybody out. Everybody's different. And I respect that we find our path, if that makes any sense. And I mean, there's another person I asked that's actually part of the Lioness lifestyle, and I'd like to have the third person too. But I asked Ellie, but I know she's not doing carnivore right now, so I'm sure she'll come on eventually. But a lot of people think like, well, I'm not carnivore, so I shouldn't go on your channel. Well,
I'm not really. I wouldn't say I'm full carnivore, and I did Dave Mack, and I don't
yeah.
care. Like,
I mean,
I
and I,
want to
I
share
think
my
Dave
story.
Mackers, I mean, hasn't he even had vegans on his channel? Like, I'm sure.
Probably.
I mean, as long as we respect each other and we don't try to change each other, I think that it's fine, if that makes any sense, you know?
Well, I think that's it's just sharing our stories is so very valuable because everybody's story is different, but also there's going to be a lot of people out there who are maybe a casual watcher who will come across one of our videos. Um, can you still hear me?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
not moving, but I can hear you.
My camera just messed up for a minute, but I'll have to figure that out in a second.
But
But
if it
just
makes you feel any better though, you're frozen as if you're like really contemplating something.
but I was gonna say, like, you come across somebody who is seeing your story for the first time, and it resonates with them because it's similar to their story, and it causes you. So it doesn't matter if you're full carnivore, keto, whatever. There's so many people out there who are struggling, who feel the same way you felt when you first started, and they're terrified to start because they don't know where to start. They've heard all the same stuff that you've heard about cholesterol or salt or you're going to have a heart attack or whatever the case is. They're looking for real world experiences. They're looking for real world reasons to start. And I think that that's so very, very valuable.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, Bride's Biscuit, oh, no, you're not frozen anymore.
All
You
right, good.
right back. Bride's Biscuit just said that you look like Professor Dustin. Someone capture it. Yeah. What, actually, I was just thinking what you remind me of with that beard and everything like that. And this is not an insult, you know. Well, if it is, I apologize. But do you remember that toy with that guy? It was like all bald and everything like that. But you like took this magnet and you like make like a beard for the guy.
And all the iron shavings in it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember that.
that's what you remind. That's Thank you, Adrian. I appreciate that. I really do, and I appreciate you being here. Um, so so you've been how many like you've been on with Dave Mack,
Mhm.
but if you say Dave Mack, that's fine. But who? I'm sure you've had more than just Dave Mack interviewing you. Who else have you been interviewed with, and who was the best person that interviewed you besides me? I mean, I know you don't have to say that.
Obviously, you, Thomas.
Yes.
I don't know. I've been on a lot of channels. I've had Adrian interview me.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. That's a hard thing to remember. It's been years. um,
Yeah, it hasn't really been years for me, but I've had a lot of interviews too.
I don't know. I can't remember. I mean, just I'd have to go back and look. I don't know. Um, I've even done some that haven't even come out yet.
Yeah, I only have one that hasn't come out yet.
I don't know. Dave Mack, I think, is one of my favorites because he just is so inquisitive and genuine, and I think he just wants to listen. He
Yeah.
doesn't really want to talk. He just wants you to tell your story the whole time, and I love that.
Mhm.
Um, I think that was kind of one that I got on that I was like, you kind of feel accomplished when
Right.
you do his channel.
I agree. I agree. Both interviews I had with him were like that.
I need to go back and have another one with him eventually. I don't know. I've been on with the Lionesses. I've done even whether it's on my channel or not. Just having somebody on, or being a part with somebody, or having them interview me. It's such a great thing because we're just continually and perpetually pushing the stories out,
Mhm.
and we're just kind of pushing and pushing the idea that you can take your health into your own hands and you can start your own journey, and nothing is absolute. Nothing is final until it's truly final. Um,
That's true. That's true. Do
I
you
just want
find
to.
like when you do your interviews, do you find it getting that every time you do an interview that it's easier and easier as you do each interview, or do you find it to be like harder and harder? Or do you find it to be depending on the person?
Well, it's always a little anxiety inducing before it starts because you
Okay.
get in your own head. And I always have these before something starts. I'm like, it's gonna be this way, it's gonna be that way, and then as soon as it starts, it's fine. As soon as you start to do it, it's like even in the mornings on Sundays when I go to do my own lives. Like I get up in the morning on a Sunday and I'm thinking about it, and I'm getting Chandler out the door, and I'm getting myself ready to do things, and then I'm always like in my own head, like, why did I do this? Why did I sign myself up to do this every Sunday? And then as soon as the music starts and I'm into it, it's fine. But there's always that, or there's always some little thing of self doubt. So
Right.
I think with any interview, whether it's just me or somebody interviewing me or I'm interviewing somebody else, how is it going to go? Are they going to be responsive to me? Is it going to be smooth? Is it going to be fun? We want it to be fun. We want it to be informative and hopefully inspirational, but we want it to be genuine because I don't want to come across as fake. I don't want to come across as somebody that's just kind of like, saying all the right things to get people to like me.
Yeah, no, I can definitely understand that. Like I always worry when I do interviews and stuff like that. Probably the same for the same reasons. And it seems like every time, I mean, with mine, you would think that telling my story, telling your story um, would be easier each time because it's like you're kind of like repeating it and repeating it. But it's like there's a part of me at least where I'm like, well, they heard it already on this channel. Are they going to want to hear it at least the same way? So you're kind of like, okay, I need to kind of update it, or I need to kind of, just tell it in a different format. So, like, am
You're
I
not
really
telling it
being
for the
wrong?
people again, you're not telling it for the people who have already heard it. You're telling it for the first time for the people who haven't
Yeah,
heard it
and I
yet.
get that. I get
Yeah.
that. It's just when you're in the situation, especially early on, you don't think of that. Like now you do. You think about all these things. But like so far, I think I've done about 21 interviews so far since I started, which January 1st. I'm sure you already know this, but January 1st is actually my carniversary. So,
Nice.
um, so yeah. And I'll have a very special guest on that day. I'm actually going to have Jen Mann on that day. So I think all you guys are special, and not like special like you should go into like special ed or anything like that. I just mean special, like, oh,
Too
Dustin
late.
is so special.
I was. I mean, hey, I was yeah, I mean, I've been there, it's fine.
He's such a good kid.
True. I mean, that's 100% the truth.
Yes.
Look at him.
Like, oh, look at that.
He knows how to
No,
turn the computer on.
no, no, little guy, do not play with the glue. It does not go in your
Hey,
mouth.
if they didn't make paste taste minty, then they didn't you know what I mean? Why is it
I know. What that's reminding me of? What's that movie with Adam Sandler where he like goes through school?
Billy Madison?
Billy Madison, that's it. Yeah. When we're talking about this pace, it just remind me of like,
I
and
mean,
later
they
on
didn't
you
have to
see,
they
yeah,
should have made it taste minty, okay?
yeah.
I'm just saying.
You made it this way. That's funny. That's funny. And then when you see later on, you see the teacher eating the glue.
It came with a spoon. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. It does all that stuff. It does all that stuff. So I'm seeing if I can find any questions I missed. Um, yeah.
Anything you wanted to know?
Well, I've been asking you stuff that comes to my mind.
Any burning questions?
How long did it take you to grow
I'm
the
an
beard?
open book. Do what is it?
How long did it take you to grow the beard?
It's been growing since 2010. The last time I trimmed it was 2019.
Okay. So you didn't
I had
you
it
didn't
trimmed a
start
little bit.
growing it 40 years ago when you were a kid?
No, no.
You know, be like that 8-year-old kid with the longest beard. I actually had a school friend. I mean, he wasn't really like a friend, but he was a friend in school. He's a nice guy, but he was shaving like by the time he was 14 years old. Like he had like by the time he was 16, he had a full beard. Like
I
nothing.
remember being in high school. There was a guy that was in school, and he was I don't know junior, maybe a senior or whatever. But I remember like he had hair coming up his back, like out of his shirt. And you're just like, what happened to you? Like what? Like where did they fall you from?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's actually me. I just
Well, I
have.
mean, I have that too, but it wasn't that bad in high school. It wasn't like we could just pick him up.
Juliet's actually asking a very imminent question. How did you meet your wife?
Um, we met through mutual friends. I had a friend who was friends with her friend. Oddly enough, we were in the same school district for our entire lives. We lived about a couple of miles apart, same road, but a couple miles apart. We knew some of the same people. I actually, when I was in the 5th grade, dated one of her friends because I met her at a little day camp that we would go to. And so I dated one of her friends when we were in the 5th grade. I met her. She was a 6th grader, and I met her at a day camp. So then when we went back to school, we would talk on the phone and all that stuff. But I didn't know Chandra, but I knew her friend. That's who I dated. But they were classmates and knew each other. So we've been kind of like almost like in the same circle for years, decades, and then we met one night, and I didn't think I did. I didn't think we hit it off all that well. It didn't go like you think it would go. I wasn't trying to date her. Wasn't a date. She just showed up, and we were talking and hanging out. And then like 2 weeks later, she calls me, and I end up hanging out with her again. And it was a slow kind of courtship because she had just been divorced for about a year, and had 3 kids. So I mean, bringing somebody new in, being divorced, it took a while for us to kind of start really dating and being serious about each other. And then, but that was all 2011. Then now, we've been together for a good long time now. So yeah, that's really how we met. But I mean, even like the night we met, it was funny. We were joking and all that stuff. But I was like, you meet somebody and you don't think you're ever going to see them again kind of thing. Yeah. I never thought I would see her again.
But obviously you have because
Yeah. See her every day now.
yeah. So Lewis is asking Mac or Windows.
I've always been Windows and Android. I still like Android as far as my phone is concerned. I am getting irritated with Windows because everything that I see for what I use my computer to do, Apple or Mac is going to be better for it.
Mhm.
I just don't want. I don't want to get into the Apple walled garden. Just by that, what it means is you get a MacBook, and then you need to get an iPhone. Then once you have an iPhone, then you get an Apple Watch, and then you get an iPad, and then they all work so well together. You can't deviate from Apple products at that point. You can't go and get any other product because they don't work well together. Like Apple, like if you have an Android phone and an Apple Watch, it's just not going to do what it's supposed to do. And I like my Android phone, and what I've thought about doing is, since I am in the Dr. Barry, Nisha, Kim Howerton group, the health coach program,
Mhm.
when I graduate from that and I start seeing clients and I set up a business, I will probably have a second phone line for that, dedicated for that, so I can disconnect from that. And I will probably go with iPhone for that. And then I will probably end up upgrading my work computer to a like a MacBook Pro or something like that, and then that way I can edit my stuff and it'll be more streamlined with the workflow with between the phone and the computer. I think that'll be what I'll do. But I'll probably still keep a PC and still keep an Android phone. My Android phone would be my daily driver, I think, the
Okay.
one that I use for fun, and then I think the or the Apple would be for clients and maybe in filming stuff and work
For,
related
for
things.
business, basically.
Yeah. I think that's what I'll do. But because I think, just with my opinion when it comes to Macs and the computers and what I utilize DaVinci Resolve to edit my content, that it is much better suited on Mac right now, because what you have to spend on a Mac versus spend on a PC to get the same performance out of the program that I use, Mac is going to win every time.
Right. So before we answer this question, Julia had asked if you like cats.
I'm not much of I mean, I like animals when they belong to other people. I like other people's animals.
Mhm.
Right now, our kids live with us, and we have 2 dogs and 3 cats. I don't see the 3 cats, but the 2 dogs, we just had to get them some bark collars. Because when I'm up here during the day, like I'm up here in my office, which is upstairs, and Shander's up in her office, which is upstairs across the way from mine. They're downstairs, and they just bark and bark and bark and bark, and I'm like, because we're not down there, and are like, the doorbell rings or somebody drives by the house or there's someone in the backyard, and we live like where our house is, like against our backyard is the common area for the neighborhood. So it's like 2 or 3 football field size field open to anybody and everybody. So people kind of walk through and all that stuff, and they just go crazy all day. And my office here, it looks like the same office that I was in before, but this is just a curtain. This is like the walls right here.
Oh, okay.
Curtain against the wall. Looks good, but it's not soundproof at all.
I hear that. Yeah, so you hear everything. So, Lewis is what software do you use to edit?
I utilize DaVinci Resolve. I actually used the free version for a very long time, which is, as far as free is concerned, is ridiculously full featured. But then I was gifted the studio version, which is the paid version, which is like $300 one time. And I was gifted that by a YouTuber named Daniel Battelle. And he does the series. If you are familiar with DaVinci Resolve, he does the series, the short series, DaVinci Resolve for Noobs. So he's like, how do you do this? And he shows you in 60 seconds how to do something. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn iMovie.
Yeah.
But right now I just use and I'm also trying to I usually use InShot, when I have my old computer and stuff, but with the new computer, InShot is working, but it's not working as effectively, if that makes any sense.
Download, since you've got a Mac, you got the new MacBook, download DaVinci Resolve. You can get the free version. It
Okay.
is ridiculously full featured for a free version. There's no
Okay.
watermarks. You're going to find a couple of features in there that are locked out that you can't use, but for anything and everything, for just about anything you're going to be doing for the next couple of years, probably, you're not going to notice a difference. Now, there are some, like now with the paid version, there's a little more AI involved where it will do. So when I'm doing a short, I put music in it and I have audio, like my voiceover, and it will go in and make sure that it'll use AI and make sure that the levels are just right. And it'll do the sound to the proper LUFS that YouTube requires because YouTube wants a 14 LUFT. So, I mean, that gets technical, but it does it for you automatically. And one thing I like about DaVinci Resolve is you can go in and do everything for you. You can just click on YouTube and it'll do exactly what YouTube wants with the audio and all that stuff. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's
no, I could
free.
definitely do that. I mean,
And then even if you
what it
decide to
hurts?
pay for it, it's like $295 one time.
Oh, okay. So yeah, if I build up that, I can do that too. So Lewis is pretty much saying you can use Google Voice number for your business line. Don't get another mobile phone. It's just Lewis's tip.
Yeah, I need to look into that and see what I think about it. I like the idea of being able to go, okay, this is my work phone and I'm leaving it here and I'm leaving and going over, you know what I mean? I can
Right.
leave it on my desk and go downstairs. That's like when we went on vacation back in October, I just left my phone in our bedroom and we went to the beach. We went walking around. I didn't take my phone anywhere with it. We didn't take it to the pool, didn't take it to the beach, didn't take it to I think we take it to dinner at night because we were leaving and you never know when you're gonna need your phone out and about. But I just left it. I didn't even bother with it most of the times hanging around the condo. It was so nice just to completely unplug. And I think that's why that idea right there is like why I was like, okay, if I have a work phone, I can just go, yep, I don't need you right now and just go on about my business.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, usually when I do videos, I usually just do simple, like I just record them and then I hardly ever edit. But um, I want to do something special. Two reasons why I want to do something special. I want to do something special for my carniversary. Do something really cool. Like I'm thinking like kind of like I want to kind of take old videos that I've done and like kind of like make them into like one. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like
Like just a
one.
montage,
Yeah,
like
sort of.
80s montage.
Sort of, yeah. And I mean, I sort of did it when I advertised to get more people on. When I did that video, I just kind of like shot each video and just took a screenshot of each one, and then I put them out there, like, and just had the collection come on. Um, but I just want to do something with a little bit more trick. And I also want to start being able to use like our conversations. Like if I find something that would be good to do a short with it, like even like here, like if we found a conversation we were having, to do a really good short because I think that they kind of resonate as well. Even though people seem to like them with the ones with the music, like were my inspirational ones with the music. At least I get more comments and compliments with them than anything else. So I was going to say, is there anybody on here that you see that might come from your channel but I think most people are do both channels. I think we recognize both on both ends, right?
Hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
pretty.
there's some people that I don't really recognize, but I think that like I don't know if Lizzie World's been to my channel before or not.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, most people I think kind of come to in and out of both. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Lizzie, I know has been on with Mitch and with Kilts, and then also probably Russ.
I was supposed to do an in-person interview with Kilts back in like May, I think May or June,
Okay,
something like that. But I was supposed to go down. I had set it up and I had confirmed it, and I was gonna stay with Chris and Ash, and we were probably gonna record some stuff. Um, but I ended up having to be home because my daughter's grandmother was gonna pass away, so they had to run the good drive down
I'm sorry.
to Florida and handle all that stuff. So I had to cancel, and I haven't rebooked it because I mean it's hard, it's difficult to be like I need to be up at 5:30 in the morning to talk to Kilts by 6.
Yeah, I know. I've just been on two times with Kilts, but yeah. I mean, I get up early anyway because my job, I work normally, it's two different shifts. I work either 6 to 10 or 10 to 2. Like I only do 4 hour shifts because of my disability. And usually it's the 6 to 10 is usually what they want me to work. So I'm up. So the days I don't work, I might as well just get up every day at the same time, you know? So I'm usually up by 4 in the morning. And with my new program that I'm doing, I usually eat by 5 and I have my last meal at 11. So I'm pretty much done pretty early, you know.
And Lizzie says she hasn't met me yet. What's my channel? You can find anything and everything about me at ketosimple.shop. That takes you to the channels. It takes you to everything that I'm affiliated with. So it's the easiest way to tell from me since I can't put links in the chat.
Yeah. And actually, if you go into the description of this, you'll be able to just go right to his channel, just from
Because if you
going.
put in keto space simple like Adrian did, it may not show you. It may not show me to you. That's the joys of YouTube.
Yeah, I know. I know. Like you know, like YouTube has been doing some really weird stuff. No offense, YouTube, but like today I had a question. I put a statement out for Rick, and it was just basically like, you know, like I hope you're going to the Hack Your Health next year because I'm going to be there. I'm planning on being there next year. I already bought the ticket. So you know, I only say hope because I'm hoping I can save up for the travel and the hotel space and everything. You know, but if the worst case scenario, if I lose the money for the ticket, that's, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But you know, so I just said, but when he was reading through them, he's reading through each one, he skips right over it. So I made a comment saying like, "Oh, I guess he missed it." You know, I guess, you know, ended up he never saw it because YouTube didn't show it on his part of it. So
Weird.
yeah,
It happens.
you know, it does. You know, and
And I was going to say, like, YouTube is changing, social media is changing. One way to think about it is it's no longer social media. It's not you pick you like you go and you follow your friends and it's going to show you all your friends. It's going to show you it's really channel like you can subscribe to a channel. Sad thing is the way people look at people's channels and how they're successful hasn't really changed. They still look at your channel and how many subscribers you have as the metric of success. Whereas it doesn't matter if you subscribe to a channel or not. If you watch that channel, it will still show you that channel because it's changing into an interest model. It's interest media. So if you go in and people always ask, well, it doesn't show me so and so's channel anymore. Well, if you go like maybe a few days or a few releases, say just an example, Thomas, you put out 3 videos next week and somebody doesn't click on any of those videos for the whole week, the
right,
next week they may not be shown your content anymore.
right,
But if somebody who isn't subscribed to you clicks on 3 videos of yours in a week, then the next week they're probably going to see all your stuff. It really comes down to what are you clicking on, what are you engaging with, and what are you interacting with? Are you showing up to somebody's live, whether you're subscribed to them or not? That's going to be what really is shown to you. So that's why I utilize two different YouTube accounts. I have my Keto Simple account, which I try to watch mostly. I mean, I'm not always perfect with it, but I try to watch mostly the community stuff so I can keep tabs of what's going on with the community. Hopefully, I see as much as I can. But then I have another channel that I watch other things that I'm interested in. So when I pop onto that channel, that's usually what's on the TV downstairs. And I open up YouTube, and it's right there, and it just shows me the stuff that I'm interested in outside of this community. So we need a break. I don't want to watch only this community stuff. There's other stuff that I'm interested in, technology stuff and other stuff, cars, whatever. And that shows me that stuff. And then with YouTube on my Keto Simple page, I try to watch people and really just this community. So when I open up Keto Simple, it shows me it shows me what Rick's got going on. It shows me Adrian and other, and Cindy and everybody who was, what's going on, because that's the way it works now.
Yeah.
And I think, and hopefully that helps people if they've been kind of confused as to why they're seeing what they're seeing, or why people may not be seeing what they want them to see, kind of thing.
Yeah, and Bride's Biscuit kind of adds on to it. She goes, "My YouTube experience was so much better in prior years. It felt intuitive and organic. I really don't like the way content is displayed now, and the algorithm feels like a battle of attrition."
Yeah, I just think that YouTube wants you to stay on YouTube. So
Right.
whatever YouTube thinks is going to keep you here longer, it's going to show that to you. So if you are more likely to click on something, it's going to show you that. I usually still get like a line of news, regardless if I click on it or not. So as I'm scrolling through, it'll show me the news, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care about that right now. I don't need that in my life right now. I don't need that. And then it'll show me various different things. But so basically, whatever you're truly interested in and what you're truly clicking on is what will continue to be shown to you. And yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, kind of segue a little bit to being monetized. I just started to be able to have like a membership, like the club, basically, I guess you could say, and because I guess you only need 500 subscribers for that. So
Mhm.
so I am able to do that. I'm able to have super chats and stuff like that. Um, but when I get, one thing, I kind of learn different things on when you get monetized for commercials, and the only thing that really annoys me is not the commercials themselves. I could care less. I mean, when we were kids, when we watched TV, had to be interrupted by a commercial, so it's just part of life, right? But for me, what happens is every time, say, like I'm watching you on the screen, then all of a sudden the commercial comes on. For some reason, the chats, they're like lined up normally, but for some reason, the chats now go down here, or the other way, go down here. So I have to like the videos, like I can't even see the video anymore if I want to read the chats at the bottom. Like if I want to answer the chat. So I have to like refresh it every time to get them even again. So that's a little annoying, having to get,
I don't know. I have YouTube. I know this sounds like first world, but I have YouTube Premium, so I don't have any idea about that.
yeah, no, it's first. I guess it is first world, but it's just it's not something I can't handle. It's just I like to be able to watch the video and just if the commercial ends, fine. I just go right back to doing chats again. Yeah, but that's my only complaint, I guess you could say. Yeah. Bryce Biscuit says that I love commercials. Let me show it off. I love commercials in the 70s, especially. It annoyed my parents because I would sing them all. Good for you, Bride's Biscuit. And I hope you have a really bad voice, which may probably annoy them even more.
Well, I think that was just like, I mean, there's still commercials that Shander and I will sing along. Like we'll reference, even though we don't have any commercials in our house. We don't, obviously we don't see those same old commercials either, but there's still like commercials that you'll sing along to decades after the fact. So
And Adrian is saying that she's seen a lot of difference or huge difference based on the thumbnail too. Um, okay, so like based on the thumbnails, I guess it depends on how your thumbnail is,
yeah,
whether
thumbnails is one of those huge things, like one of the huge things that I've worked on for years and years, trying to
master.
continually improve my thumbnails. And that's like
Mhm.
when that's why you were talking about memberships and stuff. Like I have a membership tier. I don't think anybody's subscribed to right now, but where I would just go in and show how I do stuff, like how I do thumbnails, how I make videos, how I edit and all that stuff. It's kind of a pricey membership, but I was like, I just put that out there. I don't know, like, see if anybody would be interested. So far, I don't think many people actually care, but
I mean, to tell you the truth, the membership portion, because like I said, I now have super chats and I also have super
yeah.
stickers, stuff like that. The membership portion kind of scares me a little bit. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I feel like I have more of an obligation when it comes to the members. And if that was to grow, it's like, okay, what do I do to get them engaged?
Well,
Keep
you choose
you know,
what you're offering for what tier you provide. So you can do like a dollar, a 99 cents, a dollar 99, whatever, and say, this is strictly just to support me if you like my content. And then if you wanted to then grow that, then you can do like a $5 a month or a $10 a month or whatever,
right,
where you are offering more of your time with, dedicated private lives or whatever the case is. But you dictate what you're offering for their membership. And a
right,
lot of times, like usually the bottom tier is just, hey, 99 cents, $1.99, $2.99, whatever. This is just to support me. I appreciate you. Here you get a couple of like little badge things, access to some emojis. That's it. But thank you for supporting me in a true because you care enough about my content. You want to monetarily support me with, a little bit,
yeah.
And
I'm not
Adrian's
really
asking
sure of the answer to this one.
70%.
It's 70. Okay.
Yeah, so they take
Okay.
30, you get 70. So that's that you get more of the memberships and super chats than you do of your ad revenue. I think you get 50 45 or 55% somewhere. I think they get 60%. So I think you get 40% of the ad revenue. I think I'd have to look that up again. But again, they're providing you with the storage, the platform, the everything, the infrastructure. All you got to do is record a video and throw it up. And then if people watch it, then you're getting paid. So they're providing I think it's fair.
Yeah, because she said that they keep a huge hunk of the super chats.
Yeah, they keep
So
30% of super chats.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, right now I just have two people that are members, and one actually was gifted a membership, by which is weird because it was by somebody that's not actually a member. So it was like a non-member gifting another member.
I've had that before. I've had like one day I've had people come in and give 30 memberships.
Yeah,
It's
but
pretty
they're not
crazy.
members themselves. That's weird.
Right. Well, I've had people come in and gift memberships and they get one of the gifted memberships.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that actually sort of makes sense to me. Like, okay, as long as you're one of the people that gifted, that you're getting part of the gift too. But but no, I mean, I have I probably can name them. I have Rick Charger Mopar as a member, um and Crochet Grandma.
Yeah, Rick was a member. Rick had been gifted a membership on my channel before. I think when he got gifted that membership, it broke his streak of not having gifted anyone gifting him a membership. I do too. I like it when people are involved and they're very generous.
Oh yeah, no, I love the generosity of people. You always try to give just as much as you get. It's I think you need both ends to feel good about yourself. If you're always getting, and not giving, I think that can be just as so. Like I've given I've never gifted memberships because I've always just done the buy me a coffees or the super chats. But you know,
Funny thing about I set up a buy me a coffee long before I ever was monetized.
Right.
And it just
Me
sat
too.
there for like a year, maybe more. And I didn't, never got an email saying anybody had donated any money or gifted me any money. And I was talking about it on live one day, and one of the people goes, "Oh, I've sent you money to buy me." I went and looked, I had like $40 or $50 in there, but because I didn't have a payment method selected, for them to send me money, they weren't emailing me letting me know people were sending me money. Yeah, that was kind of, that was a weird surprise because people like 4 months had given me money and I didn't see it.
And Ricky Lee is saying you're welcome, Rick, because if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Ricky Lee that actually bought Rick the membership.
I
So
love
thank
it.
you. I thank you, Ricky Lee. I appreciate it. I really do. Um, and down the road when when I get some more, I'll probably come up with something that's like I think what I probably end up doing is like kind of like you get first, like when I do a video, you guys will see it first, and then
Yeah.
it'll go over. Obviously, I'm not going to do that with the lives because like I don't want to be like, okay, well, if you remember, you're going to see the live right when it hits, but only you guys are going to. I'm not going to do that.
You go live for one person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, like what's really difficult for me to do do a video release to just members is I am such a weirdo when it comes to analytics that I want to look at it. I'm like, and then it's like it's such a different experience when a video goes live just members because then they're like the only ones who see it for a couple of days, and then I'm like, I want to see it go live, because I get that because also I haven't been releasing a lot of videos recently. I used to release like 2, 3 a week, and now I'm doing like one a month. And I've just come up with about 25 videos, and I'm going to be recording over the next couple of days. Hopefully, I can actually sit down and do it. I just a little series that I'm putting together, so hopefully that'll come to fruition, and I'll actually stick with it. But yeah,
So, how did you meet Chris?
how did I meet Chris Delisle?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any other Chris, but
I started seeing him. I started seeing his bit, people doing his content and like making videos and talking about it. And I watched one of his videos one Saturday as soon as it went live. I just happened to catch it, and I commented because the way his video was shot, the colors, everything looked great. And I was I was like, man, everything looks amazing. But I was kind of being silly, and I was like, yeah, but this recipe is too hard. I'm not going to make it. And then I guess he either he thought I was funny or whatever. He started coming into my lives, and then we met at KPL in 24, and we've been good friends ever since. And like we kind of I think we were even texting before that. I think we started texting each other. Then he got me then he created a group chat with me, him, and Victor because I didn't know Victor. I don't even think I was watching Victor's channel at the time.
I'm sorry if I sound a little ignorant. Which one's Victor?
Southern Keto.
Okay, I never saw his channel. Sorry, Victor. If you're
That's
watching.
okay. He's the other guy that was doing the keto crusade with Chris and I.
Oh, okay.
If you ever seen any of those lives, we did like 6 of them, I think.
It might be
We were supposed
before
to do them
my.
every month, but with everything going on with Victor and Chris, like Chris has got a cookbook with it's gonna have 130 recipes in it. It's gonna be crazy. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
He's talked about it, but I mean, he's sent me. I've seen some of the proofs. I've seen some of the photos, some of the recipes. He just let it. I can't really go into detail because he sends me in confidence, but I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the photos and some of the. Oh, it's going to be an amazing cookbook. It's going to be huge.
Yeah. I know he's. Not to go too much into detail on my end. Like I obviously just like me asking you, I asked him, and he was going to go on first, but then he would suggest not to do interviews or something like that. So he's going to come on my channel. We just don't know when. It's like kind of like that up in the air thing. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he has so
He's
many.
just got so
I
much
mean,
going on right
if you
now.
haven't watched Chris Cooking Nashville, two things I have to say. Definitely watch him. He's great. And if you've never heard Ash sing, she's good. You know.
Yeah, they did a little live last night, a little like video premiere,
Mhm.
like the extended cut video, and they went live for a little bit afterwards. Yeah, last night that was fun.
Yeah. Um, Yeah, I actually subscribed to her singing portion of her her channel with all of her singing, and I heard her sing, and I like country music, so yeah, she's just amazing. Um, Plop plop fizz fizz.
Oh, what a relief it is.
And Bride's Biscuit is answering Alka Seltzer. Yes, that's what the commercial is. Alka Seltzer. That's funny. So they're talking about different things. Yeah. So I had a great time today. Not that I'm not saying it's over right now. I'm just wanting to make sure
That
that.
Midwest goodbye. Well,
Okay, let's go now. So, all right. So let me see. So, has okay, I forgot your wife's name.
Chandra.
Chandra. That's right. Um, has she been doing this lifestyle about the same amount of time that you have, or
Yeah, we
did
started at the
she?
same time.
Okay. Was that just
Yep.
because of convenience? Like,
It was because she knew if she didn't do it, I wouldn't stick with it.
so she really wanted you to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good wife.
she's the best.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I sort of had to make the decision on my own. Most people were like, in my life, it's like, oh, it's okay to have a slice of pizza every day. You'll be fine.
That is weird that I mean, it is that mentality is kind of strange, and it's dying off a little bit slowly, and it's probably going to be around for a few more decades. But just the idea that, I mean, because I mean, realistically, if it was a slice of pizza every once in a while, that's not what did what we went through. It's
Right,
not like, it's not an orange here, an apple there. It wasn't blueberries. It wasn't strawberries. It wasn't, some cantaloupe or watermelon. It wasn't a baked potato here and there. It wasn't that that caused our issues.
right,
It was a culmination of hyper palatable, hyper processed foods that inundated our lives on a daily, hourly basis. Just decades and decades of bad nutritional advice with are paired with those foods, and that's really what did us in. But like, is a baked potato every once in a while going to be the downfall of you? No.
no,
Is, broccoli going to be the downfall of you? No. Even, I mean, if you are a person that has, some of those issues with whatever's in whatever food, you just avoid that food. But I mean, like, realistically, for the average person in the United States, that's what we're trying to heal the most people we can.
right,
The idea that single ingredient, and this is, I think, where I get a little controversial, that the average, trying to help the most people, and this is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about niching down, but this is just how do we help the bulk of the millions of people who are sick and need and in desperate need of a change in lifestyle? How do we help the most? The most would be kind of standing back and not being so, we talk about dogmatic, but even being like, okay, start looking at single ingredient whole foods, whether that's like, making roast potatoes and carrots for dinner versus macaroni and cheese, pizza, corn dogs. I mean, even we look for what's ease of use, right? Like, say you're a single mom of 3 or 4. In the morning, you got to get your kids together, you got to get out the door, you got to go to work, and you're not going to get home until who knows what with sports and everything. You have a crock pot, you just quarter some potatoes, cut up a couple of carrots into small chunks, put a roast in there and let it cook all day. Come home, that's still a single ingredient whole food meal that was easy for you. I mean, is it carnivore? No. Is it keto? Not necessarily, but is it better than the hyper palatable whatever, stopping at a McDonald's and getting 4 Happy Meals? Yes. That's where
Yeah.
I think the realistic aspect of what we have to offer in this community truly comes and shines. And I think that's and it's so weird that that's controversial, but we're looking at mass scale here. We're
Right.
not going to reach the mass scale saying only eat beef, salt, and drink water. You're not going to convert the masses with that. You're not going to convert the masses with just eating steak, chicken, bacon, water, salt. We're not going and cheese. We're not going to convert the masses that way. How do we convert the masses and get the biggest bang for our buck and make the most people healthy that we absolutely can? And that's by realistic things like crock pot meals with, roast potatoes and carrots. That's not an insane, crazy, bad for us meal. That's actually, when you think about it, leaps and bounds better than going to Taco Bell or whatever.
Yeah. No,
So,
I totally agree. I think like for me, because I can only speak for myself, obviously. I feel the reason why I'm doing as strict as I am is because I've done so much damage and I was so much out of control for so many
right.
years, and it caused all the damage, including my amputation, you know, or led up to my amputation, I should say, you know.
And we have to remember too, you're the exception and not the rule, right?
Yeah,
So like when what I'm talking about, like, because like whenever there was an issue on my own personal Facebook page, I would talk about diabetes, how diabetes is reversible, and this, that, and the other, and studies, and then there would always be this one person who would come on and go, "Ah, not type 1 diabetes. I'm not talking about type 1 diabetes in
right,
this instance. I understand that type 1 diabetes isn't reversible. It is manageable, which is a whole other conversation. But at the same time, I think when we start talking about carnivores, especially in our space, a lot of the reason why a lot of the carnivores and people are in this space, whether it's lion diet, strict carnivore, loose carnivore, however you want to, however you want to vocalize what you do, is because we have got to a point where this is what we need to do to be healthy and to get on a path towards finding health. So we are the rule, or like we're the exception, not the rule. We are the ones who have already gone down that rabbit hole. But I think where we can shine is we can showcase what living this lifestyle can truly accomplish, reversing different types of medical conditions, even though we are not medical professionals, authorities, or whatever. This is anecdotal evidence. This is what we have seen in our personal journeys and
yeah,
in other people's journeys. So I'm not trying to give any medical advice here, but we have seen reversal of different complications. We've seen all these things. But I also want to make sure that we as a community understand that what we are going through individually doesn't necessarily translate to the masses. How do we translate to the masses? How do we make what we are doing palatable and scalable to the millions of people who think we are insane?
yeah, and that's a loaded gun, so to speak. So, you know, I I don't think you're really fully going to get everybody, and
And I
that's
don't think
yeah,
so either. But
yeah.
how do we, but my
I mean
question is, how
I
do
mean,
we,
yeah, no, I get your question.
yeah.
And if anybody has in the chats any suggestions or any thoughts on it, that's fine,
We're going to lose a lot of people.
Yeah.
We're going to lose millions of people to this because they're either not going to hear us, they're not going to take us seriously, and unfortunately, I mean,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
know.
people like my mom and and like many of people in our lives, you know what I mean, that we've seen and we've lost too early to all these complications to medical issues.
Mhm.
That's I mean, seeing what I can't save her. I can't go back and fix that situation. I didn't know what I didn't know at the time, but I can go ahead and I can be vocal and I can be loud and I can be out here talking to your channel and anybody whose channel who invites me on about this. And hopefully we can make a difference and
Yeah.
I can help somebody else's mom not
Yeah.
die at 59.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, all any of us can do is just like really just again, it goes right back to telling our stories,
Right.
and and if somebody hears us, great. If it resonates with somebody, that's great, Um, like that's why I value, and I'm sure you have the same thing. I value having other people be able to interview them, like you, and eventually Adrian, and Rick, Charger Mopar, and all these people I've interviewed throughout the time. They people don't realize that. Yeah, maybe you're not. Maybe you feel you're not as interesting as somebody else, but the thing is your story resonated with somebody, and that even if it's only one person, that's one person more than than before.
It's not a matter of interesting. It's a matter of
Well, you know what I mean,
something
like
you've
resonate.
gone through. And I understand exactly what you're saying, and I know that that's one of those things that does get into people's idea that I have to be different. I have to have a compelling story. I have to have something that other people haven't had before. No, you have to tell your story, because no matter how similar your story is to somebody else's, there may still be that one thing in your story that resonates with somebody else, and that's what they needed to hear to get them
Yeah,
going.
my point exactly.
Yeah.
Um, like I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I hear stories, and down the road, I may not remember exactly what people say and stuff like that. But there is one thing I always do remember. I remember how I felt when I heard it. Like that. That's like an oh my god feeling. Like you went through that. Oh my god. Type. And or like I can't believe that you got out of this or something like that. Because some stories are pretty big. It's I don't know if like it's just your memory's not always perfect.
Mm.
And I'm just admitting, but I value everybody that's on here, and like people like we have a thing. I don't know if you ever been part of SBG or not, but they have a thing called the what's NSV, which stands for
What,
non-scale victories, like any kind of
what about
victory
that?
you had that has nothing to do with the scale. And most of the time when I go on there and they kind of roll their eyes, I'm like, yeah, I had a great guest today. And that was my NSV. That I had, Dustin from Keto Simple, or I had, I mean, I still say, and it's just because of her being closer to like one of my first ones, I still like Lexi Jones when she was on, talking about her schizophrenia. And so many people have been on my channel, Amy Davis, Juliet Edens, Lewis, of course, Rick, Charger Mopar, you can't forget him. There's so many people. And of course, there's big people too. I had Dave Mack on my channel. I had Russ Mitchell. I mean, Dave Mack to me, you can't get much bigger than that. Dr. Nelson, you know, and, like that's my NSV. Like, it's not really how I'm doing, like medically. Like, it's just that I used to be the type of guy that would stay in the background and I would not want to be on the computer. I would not. And to be able to do these interviews with all you guys, all you wonderful people, is a remarkable thing to me, and that's my NSV. You know, I just can't help that. You know, but right now, I'm going through some things. But to kind of segue back into the gluttony. It's I think that's why I do it too, because I was so gluttonous for such a long time. Hey, retired Rick, how you doing? I was so, I had so much gluttony that, it's sort of like, okay, in order to get myself back to where I need to be, I need to be strict. That doesn't mean I'm never going to add carbs in again. I probably will. And I already starting to add pickles and stuff like that in. I'm slowly starting. And, I don't know if that makes any sense to you or not, but, you
Yeah.
know, but it always like gets me though, like when I see young kids, like when they're with their parents and and they're young. I mean, when I say young, I mean like 4 or 5, and they put on the counter, they put all the candy, and it's like 5 candy bars, or a lot of times they do mostly like the nerds and stuff like that, or the airheads, and they have like about 5, 6 different candies, you know, and it's like, okay, it's just going to keep on getting worse. You're just going to keep on, going with this addiction, and pretty soon, eventually you're going to buy your own food, and you're going to be buying like all this really. And I did the same thing when I was a kid, you know. And it feels like my mom was a lot stricter when it came to the candy I had, but when I was able to buy, I still bought a lot of stuff.
Well, times are different back then. I remember my mom was pretty strict about candy and
Yeah.
stuff, but then again, we would watch TV and my mom would make graham cracker chocolate frosting
Hmm.
sandwiches and eat those while
Yeah.
we watch TV. So I mean, and then we ate a lot of TV dinners, and so I
Mhm.
mean, it was
Yeah.
just the time.
I mean, yeah, no, I agree. And, it just seems like before it was like sort of like, no, you can't have all that candy. You're gonna. But now it's like sort of like, oh yeah, buy 15 candy bars. That's fine. Like you're
Well, no,
fine.
you can't have cake for breakfast, but here, have these pancakes.
Yeah. It still has cake in the name.
Yeah, or waffles, whatever.
Well, like when I was in rehab, it's funny. Like they're like, "Oh yeah, you're low carb, so that's good." But so you try to order the food, and they like, "Oh, you can have pancakes, you can have French toast, you can have,
Well, the weird
these
thing about
are
the
all
hospital is
carb, right?"
their
You get
carb
that.
difference is different. Like they'll like this is one carb. That means one serving of carbs. It doesn't mean how many carbs is in it. So yeah, just understanding how hospitals. It's yeah.
Yeah, their whole concept is just, like, and I had one lady argue with me one time. I've told this story before. I'm not sure. I don't think she was a nutritionist, but she still worked in the food business. But I asked her if I could get butter instead of margarine. You just did a really quick like turn on your video. It's like, um, I asked, they were giving me margarine, and obviously, even back before I became carnivore, I didn't like the idea of having margarine. So I asked if I could get some real butter. The lady goes to me, goes, "Well, you can't get butter because of you being diabetic." I said, "Okay." And she goes, and then she has to add on to it. I even asked her. I was just like, okay, I'm not going to argue with it. Um, and she goes to me, she goes, "Yeah, because it's a carb, and you're not allowed to have carbs."
All right, that's some mean girl stuff right there. Is butter a carb? Today we were pink.
Yeah. So, it's just their knowledge is. But so, trying to see if there's anybody else that has entered the building.
Josephine's here. We want to say hi to Josephine,
Oh,
all the way from
Josephine.
Australia.
Yeah. Josephine says, "Howdy. Sorry I am late. Bart was live and time got away from me. Hope all you doing well." Yeah, I don't feel too bad that you stay with Bart. That's fine, I guess. That's kind of
I don't think I've ever watched Bart.
I've watched him once or twice. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I get why people like him, but I also get why some people don't like
Well,
him.
my other thing is like I get sucked in so many. There's like so many I can't keep up anyway. I'm like, yeah.
Like Bart's like one of those, like there's so many people, like I don't ask good questions. It's just not my wheelhouse. If they come up, they come up, but obviously you're thinking to yourself right now, you're like, oh yeah, I agree. You ask lousy questions.
You asked me perfect questions. You asked questions that made sense.
But Bart seems like the type of guy that if you ask like, the wrong question, I only get that with like a few people. And Bart's one of them, and Mitch is actually another one that I don't like asking questions anymore, because every time I do, I always get like that, like that's a dumb question. Why are you asking that? But like I don't. If I'm going to ask a question, I don't want it to be like criticized. I just feel like there's always going to be a criticism with his answer and stuff like that. Like I know they say that that's really Bart. That's not Bart's true self. That's his persona. But I don't know. It's just
I don't know. I kind of wonder is how much room there is to have a persona like that, and in this space. I kind of wonder, like, because if you only have a one chance to make a first impression, and somebody comes in and asks a legitimate question, and they don't know that your shtick is to pick on people for asking questions, and they walk away not realizing that that's what that was, and we lose them forever. I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm saying that, but I've never really watched him, so I have no idea. But
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
no, I agree with you. Um, Josephine says, I'm Aussie, love the way he talks. I've stopped asking questions, LOL. So she understands where I'm going from, like, I noticed that he's been having that carnivore nurse on lately. Lucy, I think her name is. And me too, Thomas, but mine's more the way I write it down. Okay. Um, you have very good live streams, Rick. He just said that he gets compliments on his live streams.
I like to, like, he comes on and he like makes a big deal that I show that I'm a big celebrity, and he gets more views on his lives than I do. He cracks me up.
Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, YouTube's been doing stuff like that. Like yesterday, I was on, and I actually went on. I don't know if you saw or not, but Juliet actually put out a pajama thing, like a get together, like a pajama party, and but most of it's going to Amy, like most of the people, and which like if you come up with the idea, you usually get some people too, but we all kind of because I mean, I'll be honest with you, YouTube just sent me right to Amy's channel, when I got the notification. So it's, I guess YouTube just kind of makes a
It was
decision.
her channel that you got the notification from. It just
I
happened to
got
be,
it
it's
from
like,
Amy's. I got it from Amy's channel. Yeah,
yeah. Well, I mean, because if with a thing, if there's like a live stream and it's going to 5 different channels, you're only probably going to get one notification, and it just happens to be whichever one you interact with the most.
yeah. I mean, believe it or not, I usually for kilts, I get the three. I get Nelson, Alia, and kilts, but the first one's always kilts, so I always just click onto the first one. Um, you know, but yeah. Um, but it was still a good time and everything, and I had a great time. I actually went on there for a little bit. And
And you say you have a 2 hour limit on these.
yeah, we're actually
All
going to
right.
be ending now. So everybody,
That's what I
thank
make
you.
sure I didn't get caught off guard.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. I do appreciate it. I had a great time with Dustin here, and I hope Dustin had a great time with me and all of you guys. And hope you guys all had a great time. So that being said, live, love, heal, and for God's sakes, people, I think even Dustin would agree, and everybody he knows, eat the meat. See you guys later.